Hey guys, what's going on? I've got yet another knife video for you today. Another awesome Spyderco that I just got in the mail today, so I'm just going to be doing sort of like a quick first impressions, a little bit of an overview, mini review of the knife. Pretty much the same sort of thing that I normally do. But anyways, so yeah, this is a pretty freaking sweet blade. It is definitely a tank of a knife, and this is obviously, I'm sure you know, and you could tell by the title, the new Spyderco Tuff, designed by none other than Ed Schempp. You see his logo up there. So yeah, you can see this is a titanium lock, which Spyderco really doesn't do that many of. Honestly, they just started doing some more recently, you know, with the Techno, and they have like a titanium military. They have a few others, but generally they don't really do a lot of titanium locking knives. But yeah, so this is the Spyderco Tuff, and I have to tell you that this thing is a freaking beast of a knife. If Hulk could be a knife, I'm pretty sure he would want to be the Spyderco Tuff, because it is really just that freaking beefy of a blade. It's heavy duty, really heavy duty. It's 6.6 ounces, so a lot of you guys know that that's pretty heavy for a blade. You know, it's not going to stop you from carrying it or anything, but it's definitely a hefty blade, especially one that has a titanium frame lock, you know, which is a pretty light material relative to steel. But this thing is just freaking beefy, and that's mainly because just you can see this blade stock. Look at how crazy that blade is. Now, I did some comparison earlier to the ZT 560, and I believe it's a little bit thicker than the 560 blade stock, but I just want you to check out, just see how the Spyderco Tuff maintains its thickness all the way down to this this fuller cut here. Whereas, you know, the ZT560 doesn't. It starts to thin out in the middle, and you can also see that with the my Strider SNG, which also has about the same thickness at the thickest point, but like a traditional knife, the SNG kind of bevels down and thins out as you get towards the tip, whereas the Spyderco Tuff just maintains that freaking awesome 4mm thickness all the way down to where this fuller cutout meets. So you have a huge hunk of crucible 3V steel, and that's another aspect that makes this knife a beast of a knife. That 3V steel, the CPM 3V, is, you know, I'm sure as a lot of you know, is pretty much the toughest steel out there as far as you know, production knives go, and what we're used to currently. It doesn't have the absolute best edge retention. I believe something more like M390 would have better edge retention, but just pure toughness and being able to take abuse and not chip out or really get too disformed. 3V is definitely the cream of the crop in that area. So, you know, putting 3V on this thing really just increased the durability of it, and you know, just the value of it in my mind, because that's more of a premium steel, as far as I would consider it. This is a Taiwan knife made in Taichung, the same factory that the Spyderco Techno is made in, which, by the way, I am absolutely loving. I've been carrying this thing for the last week, every single day, and it is just absolutely awesome. I cannot find a single complaint about this knife. But anyways, this video is not about that knife. And obviously, as I already mentioned, this is a Ed Shemp design. He's, you know, world renowned for making a lot of the Asian styled folders, and this really isn't an exception because it does kind of have that exotic look to it, just in the shape, how the just the blade isn't in line so much with the actual handle as you would find with maybe the 560 or the SNG or most knives really. Ed Shemp's knives are particularly interesting because they don't conform to the typical knife shape that we see, you know, we come to expect with most knives. So and also, a cool thing about this one, as you can see, I got another collector's version with the numbered blade there. And I also want to do a shout out here to the place I got it from, New Graham Knives. I forget whose video I watched that had purchased the knife from there. I believe it was some video I watched with the Spyderco Techno. I forget who it was, but he had noted that he got his from New Graham Knives. And most places, pretty much all places, were out of stock of actually both of these knives. But as soon as I went to New Graham Knives and searched for it, they had both of them in stock. Now they only had 2 of these in stock, and I took 1, so I imagine they only have 1 unless somebody bought it. But really fast service and incredible freaking prices. Incredible prices. Just, they've pretty much beat everybody I've seen so far with the prices on these 2 blades. So I really suggest you check them out for any of your future knife purchases. Not saying that they'll surpass someone like Blade HQ, because, you know, Blade HQ is just going to have an incredible amount of product. But for certain things, definitely check these guys out. Plus they give you band-aids, which, you know, is awesome. So what else? Obviously it does have a G10 side here, as you can see. It's kind of similar to the G10 you'd find on say a Tenacious. It's not too aggressive, but then it's got this kind of cratering, dimpling going on here that's mimicked on the titanium side. It's just a nice aesthetic thing. It does add to the traction a little bit too. More on the titanium side because the G10 side is just a lot softer, and the edges aren't as crisp as on the titanium side. So that's sort of the kind of texturing that goes on here on the handles. It has a steel insert on this tie lock here. It's like a 1-inch steel bar, sort of like a piece of a liner that attaches to the inside here with 2 screws, and it actually extends a little bit past the lock face on the tie side, so really the only contact that's being made is with this steel liner section here. So you're never going to really have any wear because it's steel on steel, and your titanium's not going to start to deform. As you can see here, I'm kind of struggling to close this thing because it is extremely tough. Ironic, huh? It's extremely tough to close. The action on this knife is honestly not the smoothest. If you've watched any other videos on this knife that have come out yet, pretty much all of them touch a little bit on the fact that it is both very hard to open and pretty hard to close. But I mean, I guess the thought behind that is that they want to make it more solid feeling, and if you do have it tightened up a little bit harder, it's going to obviously make the blade more stable and just more solid in the lockup. So I guess that's kind of fitting for this knife. I just wish the lockup wasn't so tough. I mean, it doesn't stick at all, but the tension on the bar is just incredible. If you try it a couple times with your thumb's gonna hurt, and then you're gonna want to try it with both hands. So that's just one thing to consider. This isn't a knife that you're gonna be flicking all day, closing all day. You know, it's not a ZT560 that's just buttery smooth in both directions. It's definitely not like that. But I mean, that shouldn't really detract from the knife. It doesn't. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just that's how it's kind of designed. That's kind of the philosophy behind it. And I did try to loosen it up a little bit with this pivot, but then what happens is it kind of makes the blade a little bit loose in the when it's closed here. Yeah, I don't really like that. I don't like any wiggle down here. So I just tightened it back up to where it was, and it's okay. I mean, you can flick it out alright. It's just a little bit difficult to close. But other than that, I mean, I really don't have anything else negative to say, except for the fact that I really don't like this pocket clip, nor do I like this type of pocket clip, especially the black version. Although this isn't the painted version that, like, say you'd find on the Spyderco Civilian that really chips easily. This is the same clip that was on the Navaja. It's kind of like a I don't know what kind of finish it is, but it's not paint, so it's not gonna chip. I don't know if it's like sort of anodized. I know it can't be anodized because it's steel, but. And another thing is that it's very tight. It's actually, you can see how little space there is here between the end of the clip and the handle. So it's actually really difficult to try to clip into your pocket. And in fact, I missed my shorts earlier today and almost dropped it because it is so thin right there. It doesn't give you a lot of space to slip your paint material into. And then it also has a little bit more tension than I would prefer. But I mean, other than that, that's not a huge issue. This blade is absolutely incredible looking. It has the coolest shape to it. Ed Shemp really makes some awesome shaped blades, and it's got this huge blood groove fuller on both sides that kind of comes down to a swedge here that really looks pretty cool. They say they did this sort of mainly as like a weight saving feature, which I can understand because this thing is pretty heavy as is, so they'd probably want to do whatever they can to lighten the load. Speaking of, another reason it's so heavy is you can see just how thick this stainless steel liner is over here. It is milled, not too heavily though, only large single holes going throughout the center of it. Perhaps maybe that's because they didn't want to mill it too much. Perhaps that would detract from the strength and rigidity of it. Although I highly doubt it would ever actually be put into a situation where the liner would fail due to the milling. But regardless, I guess that could be the reasoning behind the lesser milling. What else? Oh, there is an over travel feature built into this stainless steel insert there is a tab. I don't know if you can see that. There's a tab that extends and prevents the titanium lock from being overextended in the wrong direction here. It would hit the underside of this titanium there and prevent it from over travel. It's got some really nice like fancy pivot hardware here. It's actually really nice. I thought it'd be more cheesy than it actually is, but it's really nice. And the finish on it's really nice. There's no scratches or anything. It's just overall the fit and finish on this thing is absolutely incredible. It has a very nice black G10 backspacer that is just incredibly shaped to, like, all these edges back here. Here you have 4 different materials all coming together, and there's absolutely no, you cannot perceive where one stops and the other begins. It is just that smooth and perfectly contoured and rounded and shaped to fit together, and it's just really nice. The fit and finish on this thing is absolutely incredible. What else? You have some jimping on the underside and also top side here. The handle makes for a really comfortable grip. Sort of like a pistol grip, just because of how the blade is upswept from the handle. Then you can also come into a sort of a forward grip here for some improved control, for some more precision cutting tasks. But the back grip here is really nice, and I also think that it's a really comfortable reverse grip, and I think that it would make a really great defensive tool in this position, because just of how the blade shaped, you kind of have the blade coming forward here, and I don't know, I think that just would make a very nice defense tool in the reverse grip. Really beefy, really beefy stop pin there. You can just see how huge that thing is. Let's compare that to, well, actually none of these here really use a stop pin for that reason. Compare it to the ZT, but the ZT doesn't use that stop pin for the actual blade. They use it only in the closed position. But this is definitely one of the beefiest, if not the beefiest, stop pin I've ever had on one of my knives. So this thing is definitely a freaking robust blade, and if you feel like spending $240, $250 on a hard use knife, this is definitely the one to get. Well, that's pretty much it, and I thank you for watching. I definitely recommend you buying this knife for whatever reason, either a collector's piece, a hard use piece, a just light use piece, whatever you want. This is definitely a good knife to add to your collection, and definitely, in my opinion, worth the money. You get the awesome 3V steel, you get a nice titanium locking mechanism, and you get this awesome edge shemp design, all tied together with an incredible build quality, incredible materials. It's a great package. Highly recommend it. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for some more videos to come.